Hey guys, Jim Edwards here along with Stu Smith. Welcome, Stu.
Hello, everybody.
This is
Welcome back,
episode.
Jim.
Oh, thank you, sir. This is episode 57,
Yes.
which was a fine year if you were a Chevy. 10 episodes from now, we'll get to the year that I was born.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming up quickly. So today we're going to talk about what Jim did on his summer vacation, even though it wasn't summer. But first, we want to talk about Stu's new hashtag that Stu's pushing. And I love the tagline. So tell us what's going on with you, Stu, as far as your hashtag.
Here's what you want to do. If you want to make your online social media experience a lot more fun, friendly, less stressful, less angry, instead of posting or sharing something about some political figure or politics thing, post about puppies. In fact, the new hashtag is all puppies, no politics. And I've got some great pictures, and I've created this puppy news channel where we have breaking news every day about what my dog Parker is doing. And he's a weatherman, a weather dog. He's has a health
weather dog.
He has some public service announcements to make. He does all kinds of cool stuff. So, Puppy News Channel, because no one cares about your political opinion. That's our tagline. So that's what I've been doing while you're gone. I've been busy. No, I'm actually writing a book and reading a book. So which is difficult.
I know.
It's hard to worth it. It's hard to take it in and then spit it out with a different topic. But yeah.
Can I tell you that I just found out we crossed the 20,000 book sale mark with my book?
Nice.
That's pretty good, right?
That's big numbers.
Not bad for
big numbers.
A redneck from the swamps of Virginia.
And then you've been on vacation, a well-earned and deserved vacation.
First, I was at Funnel Hacking Live for a week, and then I've been in Aruba for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that other than walking onto the beach to do a couple of videos, we didn't go to the beach one day. We didn't go sit on the beach. All we did was pretty much, I worked out every morning. I slept like 10 hours a day.
Good. Must have needed it.
And I worked out every day for as long as I wanted. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without feeling pressured, but I was actually working on doing my workout quicker than normal. With less pause in between sets and stuff. And then we walked every day, and then Terry went to the casino for probably 4 or 5 hours a day, and I sat at the Dunkin' Donuts in Aruba and read 4 to 5 hours a day and took a bunch of notes and stuff and did a bunch of thinking and filled up a bunch of notebooks, and I rearranged my whole day. I came up with a whole new way of organizing my day based around the book When by Daniel Pink, which I actually went on and did a whole video about why I liked it, because it's not a time management book. It's a time usage book, which is different, telling you which and I've done stuff on this before, something called the 2 Golden Hours, but he confirmed a bunch of stuff I knew, gave me a lot of new things to think about, and really got me to consider how I organize my day. And it's interesting because, let me ask you this, Stu, and I know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyway. It's a leading question, so make sure you answer it right. Otherwise, we'll have to stop recording. But let me ask you this. When you, and I'll go over to my handy dandy whiteboard. Let me ask you this. Over the course of the day, do you find yourself with your energy going like this? So this would be sometime between,
like right now,
12 and 2 o'clock. All of a sudden it really drops.
Yes.
You told me you weren't tired.
I'm not tired.
Oh, okay.
Just not as energetic as I was 3 hours ago.
Okay. Well, this is, we call this the bonk or, the dip. But this is pretty normal. In fact, this is pretty much what people do.
Sure.
And so if you know that's going to happen, why would you plan to do stuff around this time of day at around between 12 and 2 when you know you're not going to be at your best and everything's going to suck? And yet everybody's struggling and trying. So what he suggests, and he said there's actually three types of people. There are larks, there are larks, there are third birds, and there are owls.
Yeah. So you got morning larks and night owls. I've never heard of the third bird idea.
Right. Well, he actually did a lot of stuff with scientific studies and other stuff like that. But let's say that 4 o'clock in the morning is a lark. Most people don't get up at 4. Most people are getting rolling around 6 or 7. But what happens is that everybody's following the same pattern. It just happens later on in the day. So instead of it being between 12 and 2, because you're getting up pretty early. I mean, you're up like at 5:30, right?
5, yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're hitting it between 12 and 2. If you were getting up 2 hours later, it would be happening between 2 and 4.
Okay.
So it's not linked to the sun so much as it is just your personal whatever. And the third birds are actually the biggest group of people. But the important thing is number one, to identify which group you're in, and then just plan accordingly. Because he said there's all kinds of stuff that goes on during these different periods where, I guess I should have another color, but I don't. This time of day, you should be doing what he calls analytical stuff. So that's the stuff that requires a whole lot of thinking and
writing.
Other thought. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But what he says in the afternoon, when you hit, when you're past the dip and you've got energy again, that this is where you should be doing what he calls intuitive stuff. And that was the thing I thought was really interesting, because it was talking about, intuitive. This is creative stuff. Like writing is creative, but brainstorming and seeing connections and thinking about, what stuff means and other stuff is more intuitive. And it's better to do that after the dip, because your inhibitions are down, because you're still a little bit tired. So your internal editor is not as active. So you're not going to second guess everything that you say and think so much. And it opens up your mind to see new connections. Whereas in the morning, you're about get it done, get it done, get it done, done, reps, write that article, all that stuff. But in the afternoon, that's where you're able to make connections and do that kind of stuff. I thought that was really interesting. And that was part of when I was sitting at the Dunkin' Donuts in Aruba for 4 or 5 hours a day. What I would do would be to write these things down and then say, okay, what if I organize my day like this? Then I would literally sit there and mentally rehearse a day and think through, where would this be? Where would this make sense? Where would this not make sense? Is this true for me? And, some of the stuff I said, I'm going to switch it out and I'm going to work out at 4:30 in the morning. I'm going to work out from 4:30 to 6. And I had this whole thing done. And then I kept thinking about it. I said, there ain't no way in hell I'm going to work out from 4:30 to 6. I'm not going to be a Navy SEAL. I'm not going to be an Army Ranger. There's no reason for me to do that. And I'm happiest when I work out after I've worked for a couple of hours. So that's where I came up with the new schedule. But it's interesting. And so I made a whole bunch of lists of things that I would consider, in creative tasks versus intuitive tasks. To kind of organize what stuff I'm going to do in the middle or during the day, but at what time I'm going to be doing. Because that was the big thing that he talked about was, sometimes it's not as important as what you're doing as when you're doing what you're doing. So I made a list of things. Remember, the creative or analytical stuff would be at the beginning, and then intuitive stuff would be at the end. So and the other thing, though, you got to understand is that your customers, the people paying attention to you, are bonking at the same time. You got to know when are the majority of your people in there. And I realized, like for me, normally been doing webinars at what, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, think about it. If I'm bonking at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, am I giving my best presentation? No. And are the people that are listening or paying attention, are they in the best frame of mind to receive what it is I'm putting out there?
Good point.
So I'm going to try something different. I'm moving with the exception of one, I'm moving all of my regular webinars to 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern.
Okay.
Now, if you think about this,
that's a good time.
You think about it, 11 out on the West Coast, it's 8 in the morning. People could say, oh, that's too early. Okay, well, catch a replay. I mean, but if you think about it though, all the people over in Europe, 5 hours ahead of us, 11 o'clock, that puts them at 6. That's when most people are having that second wind.
Yep.
So I'm going to try that out and see how it goes. If nothing else, and 90% of the people will watch a replay anyway. So why not do it when I'm feeling my best? So as you can see, I put a lot, I got it color coded, and I did a lot. So here are the things I'm planning on doing in the morning. All right. Making wizards, modifying wizards, using wizards to make content, creating scripts for content, whether it be videos or podcasts, outlining webinars, outlining trainings to deliver, troubleshooting wizards, presenting classes or webinars, writing sales copy or teasers, promoting content we've already created, whether with email, social media, paid, or outreach, defining, planning, challenges. I'm going to start doing a bunch of copywriting challenges.
Cool.
Creating, defining processes, blueprints, and checklists. So that's the stuff for the morning. That's the stuff that that's how it's all about getting into flow. That's the other big theme in this book is it's all about being in flow with the right activities, with the right time for your body and mind. And it all makes sense to me, at least.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And especially your 1 p.m. podcast webinar change.
Yeah,
idea, because
exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. Because I know I'm pretty much useless right after lunch.
Right. Yeah, me too.
That 1 o'clock class was awful in college. Mm-hmm. I think everybody had a hard time staying awake.
So the other thing that he talks about is taking a nap. And he brings up Stu's favorite, the Nappuccino.
Yes.
And he even calls it the Nappuccino. But the other thing, a couple things he said about naps is, number one, he used to judge them as only for the week. But then he did all these studies and stuff and showed that if you take a nap the right way at the right time, it can actually reinvigorate the entire rest of your day. But you can't take it for too long.
Yep.
And so he said the optimal amount of time for it is somewhere between 16 and 20 minutes. 16 and 22 minutes, I think, is what it was. Yep. Somewhere in there. But what you need to do is you need to take a little bit of caffeine, have a cup of coffee, have something. I did some half caff today just to test it out. And that was the other thing. I cut out all caffeine except for this one thing. I'll do a half caff. I'm drinking no caffeine in the morning.
That's good.
Because he said, again, and he showed the research, but that caffeine in the morning actually affects your ability to lose weight, because it activates something else. I don't remember what it was, but the thing is, I'm awake in the morning. I don't need caffeine in the morning.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But I need it in the afternoon. So I was starting to have some atrial fibrillation issues in the morning. And so I said, okay, I'm going to cut out the caffeine. And I cut it out for almost 2 weeks. And that went away. And then today, while I was in Aruba, I started experimenting on myself with a iced coffee with half caff in the afternoon and didn't have any of the negatives. So, and it was, revving me up. So bottom line is, says take a nap, set your alarm for like 30 minutes from when you finish the coffee. It takes most people like 7 minutes to fall asleep. And then if you're asleep for between 16 and 22 minutes, and then you wake up, that's the perfect thing. And then go for a walk after you've done that.
Yep.
So the big thing is also to take mini breaks throughout the day, like work for 15 minutes and then stand up and go for a walk for 5 or 10 minutes. And I started making a big list of all the things that I can do in that 10 minutes, like, pull up pyramids and push up pyramids and, other stuff that used to be hard. And now I'd be like, oh yeah, I can go bust out 55 pull-ups in 10 minutes and then I'll be woken up. So it said even to plan your breaks, like plan them and take them, make them a reward.
You know why?
Why?
Because if they're not on the schedule, they don't exist.
Exactly.
Got to plan those things.
So, so here's the list of intuitive tasks that I made. And if anybody cares, I mean, I'm happy to share my new daily schedule.
You should do a blog post of your list.
We can do that.
Yeah.
So here are the intuitive tasks that I came up with. I'm just going to keep adding to the thing. Whiteboarding ideas. That's a real intuitive thing. And that's fun too in the afternoon. Do, something, I can't read my writing. Podcast interviews, Facebook Live broadcasts, contacting folks about sharing content. And then I said I need to develop a syndicate for social media content sharing. Answering questions on social media and turning that into content, strategizing upcoming launches and promotions, demonstrating on demonstrating stuff, not anyway, demonstrating, answering questions live or in writing, spinning wizards, finding new uses for wizards, which I think is big, critiquing copy, and meetings with others. So that was something else. I'm going too many directions, but you would not believe how many people came up to me at Funnel Hacking Live and told me, hey, I've been using funnel scripts and you've never talked about this, but I use this one, and this one, and I get this. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. Can you say that on video? And they did, but I got some great ideas about how to even use my own stuff from people.
That's awesome. Well, that brings me up to another thing that Jim and I are going to do. And that is we're going to have another segment each week where we interview people on the Facebook group who are pretty active.
Right.
Not only active in posting, but active in sharing, critiquing others, when they ask for it, and just get some of your feedback on, how you are using it in your business, and maybe kind of do a to, through, and after with you, focusing on, your journey.
With sales copy specifically, copy and content. So what did we decide to call it? We decided to call it, I had it down. It was actually pretty cool. I came up with it while I was on the beach. We're going to call it, What's Your Sales Copy Story?
Yeah.
A look at how everyday entrepreneurs, just like you, grow their businesses with more clicks, more sales, and more profits using the power of words. So it's going to be kind of a combination of critiquing, discussion, brainstorming, coaching, all kinds of stuff. So if there's something that you'd want to talk about when it came to copy, if there's a way that you're using the wizards that you're finding success, if there's something that's not clear, if there's whatever it is, you can jump on with us and we'll just talk with you over a cup of beverage.
Non-caffeinated
at this point. But I think it's going to be fun, and we'll figure it out together. So it'll be good.
Yeah. All right. That was our new ideas as Jim was on his, like I said, well-deserved recovery period vacation. But let's just talk about that. Why you need to do that. I think not everybody can go to Aruba for 2 weeks. We get it. But
yeah, but I mean,
if you can just get away, unwind, and there's a term that we use in fitness, especially in the tactical fitness world, where we actively pursue recovery. So you are constantly on a search for things that help you recover from the stresses of the day, whatever that is. It doesn't matter if it's a fire you're fighting or bullets flying over your head or paying bills at the end of the month. Stress is stress. And we have to learn to get good at dealing with that stress. And a lot of times, like what Jim was doing, was just resting, digesting, getting a little bit of physical activity out of his system, and kind of engaging that parasympathetic nervous system where, you know, it brings you down, and it really can help you get healthy too, because stress is our number one killer.
Sure. Well, I think stress is the new smoking. Stress is the old smoking, as far as sitting's the new smoking, which I think is
Yes.
bullshit, but okay.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing, and by the way, by the end of I didn't need the 2 weeks. I mean, I was ready to come home after the first 10 days, and the last 4 days I was like,
I'm sure it would drive me nuts being gone that long.
But it also was good because I was practicing a few things, like practicing not checking my email until after I had read and exercised and created and done some stuff, instead of letting that blow my mind. Also, what happens is we tend to, at least I tend to really get in action mode. And so every once in a while, it's kind of like a review every year with your doctor, or a review every year with your financial planner. You got to stop for a minute, stick the periscope up and look and make sure you're still moving in the right direction. Say, okay, I want to head this way now. And I want to change shoes, and I want to, change the oil in the car, and I want to do some other stuff that, when I put my head back down, hopefully I have done enough that I'll keep myself moving in that direction. Something that I'm doing differently this year is, I realize, well, when I go away, what I tend to have is, when I come back, is a giant to-do list of all the shit that I think I need to do now, because I've had some chance to actually breathe, and I forget about all the pain I create for myself by just blindly charging ahead and doing a ton of stuff, which, granted, I've gotten really good results from blindly charging
Oh,
ahead and
there's
doing a
nothing,
ton of
like I said,
stuff.
there's nothing wrong with it. But, you know, like I said, if
You can be
you have to,
smarter.
you have to
And
actively pursue recovery somewhere throughout your day. Otherwise, you know, it starts
but
catching
I
up
think
to you.
I think you have to actively pursue recovery at least every 3 to 6 months, the same way mentally, instead of just grinding away and
Oh yeah.
grinding and grinding and grinding, which, by the way, I think the term grind is, if you want to hustle and grind, you're an idiot. I'd
Yeah,
rather,
it's
I'd rather flow and roll myself. But
yes.
okay, so good example. Right here's the list of all the big things I need to get done real fast. Okay, there's a ton of stuff. I want to start launching the copy challenges as the back end for the Copywriting Secrets book. I want to integrate the avatar with funnel scripts and with the Jim Edwards Method Premium.
Nice.
I got to finish making the Traffic Secret scripts. I got to get my promotion together for the Traffic Secrets affiliate contest. I need to start promoting Author Wizards more. I need to create a framework script. I need to promote the Jim Boat. I came up with a really cool idea called copy hacking, that I want to develop with you, Stu, on the live stuff, where we're analyzing different copy, and it's, all kinds of cool stuff. But in the past, it would be like, okay, man, here's the list, here's the day. And within 3 days, I would have made myself absolutely insane. Now, what I'm doing is, we're getting together on Friday, and we're going to take a look at all this stuff, and we're going to prioritize, and also see how we can take an integrated approach with this, so that by, maybe we can tie these copy challenges into the Traffic Secret scripts and the Traffic Secrets affiliate contest, so that as I bring everything along, everybody can, it's like I can bring 5 things along at one time, instead of bringing one thing along in 5 different turns, if that makes sense. Just being smarter about it, because time is the other thing, you know, when I have time to sit and think, the other thing is that time, people talk about time's your most valuable resource. Time, you know, time's really the only thing that we have. We get to choose how we use it, but I'm choosing to be a little bit smarter with it than I have been in the past. Being not just more efficient, but more thoughtful about everything. So anyway, that was quite the vacation, and lots of stuff swimming around in my head. I need to review my notes from all these books and stuff. But
well, you know, slowly but surely, you got plenty of things to do. And you're right, you don't need to get them all done this week. But this was one of them. We got a podcast done.
Exactly.
Talking a little bit about, you know, your schedule, when you're going to be most productive in the day. I think everybody should know that.
I agree.
And you know, what works for you. We tend to be creatures of habit, and sometimes making these changes can feel a little offsetting at first.
Yes.
But give it a try. Give it a good college try for a couple weeks and see how it works. If not, go back to what you know works for you.
Right.
And
don't try and change everything all at once. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to getting up this early, so that's not a change. If you really want to come down to it, okay, when it really comes down to it, I'm making 2 changes to my schedule. Well, 3 changes to my schedule. Okay, but one of them's not very big, the other one's not very big, and the other one will become natural quickly. Okay. The first big change to my schedule is I'm moving my meeting with my team from 6:45 in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning. The other thing that I'm saying is don't even look at email until after you have the meeting with the girls. Okay. That's the second one. And then the third one is no afternoon webinars, only do them at 11. If that, I mean, honest to God, everything else I've been doing plus or minus, just without the I'm gonna always do this. You know, I always have eaten lunch. I always have loved taking a nap. Now I've given myself permission to take a nap every day. Nice. As part of the process, and to take a walk after lunch and after my nap. So, but if you think about it, even though it feels different, it's not. I'm just organizing things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But
you
if I hadn't,
you haven't added any hours to your workday. You just moved the things that make sense in your brain that may be a little more productive for you.
And I have been doing plus or minus this already. So it's not, it's just, it's like I was 98 yards down the field, and now I'm learning how to take it the last 2 yards over the goal line.
Well, you know what? I mean, sometimes that missing, let's say 2 to 5%, can make a big difference in what you get done in a day.
Absolutely.
You know, and now you've been productive. Now you're highly productive.
Yep. There's one other thing he discusses but not in this book. He discusses in another book. It's called Drive. And, you know, where motivation and stuff comes from. But the one other thing that we're going to do in our team is on Fridays, we're going to adopt something called FedEx days, where basically you have 24 hours to work on something that you normally either wouldn't be working on or that you've been putting off, where you have permission to put everything else aside and only work on this one thing until it's done. But you only have that one day to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really good too, because, like, for example, we got to get the sales page done for the gym boat. So if we didn't set aside and say, okay, today, you know, whatever the day is, it's not going to be this Friday, but next Friday is going to be the day to get that done. Hell or high water. You want to get up at 3 a.m. and work on it. You want to work on it till 10 o'clock at night, however long it takes. But before you're done for the day, that thing must be done, or that part of it, or whatever you define. This is the thing that I have to deliver by the end of the day.
I think we all work a little better on deadlines too.
That's the
you
only
know.
way I can work.
Yeah,
I have to
I
have a
need a
deadline,
deadline. Yeah,
or it
instead
never
of
gets done.
especially a writing deadline. That's
Yep.
very helpful for me.
So anyway, that's that. So if you don't have the book, get the book.
Yep.
Copywriting Secrets. I really highly recommend When, the book When by Daniel Pink. The full name of it is When, The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing. It's really good. Really good. Recommended highly. Told everybody to get it. Everybody's bought it and nobody's read it. Come on, people. I'm like, Stu, did you read it? No,
I
I'm on it, dude.
downloaded it. I'm reading a book that is very similar, actually, and it's called Why We Sleep.
Okay. What's that
It's
about?
really why we sleep. It's the importance of sleeping, right? And
Okay.
all the different aspects of naps, and why there are people like he uses the term morning lark and night owl.
Okay.
As well. But it's neat. It's just neat to kind of better understand it a little bit, and he gives some insights on sleeping better, having really productive sleep, taking short naps, nappuccinos, whatever,
There you go.
and
Cool.
doing all that stuff too. So yeah, it's like I said, in the end, it's all about recovery, because your number one recovery tool is a good night's sleep. No
Yes.
matter what your stresses are in life, a good night's sleep is your number one recovery tool. And if you sleep poorly, your stress can become chronic, and it usually exhibits itself in your annual medical checks,
Sure. And your everyday mood.
in your mood. And yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, get a nap, read the books, go check out the Facebook group, Content Marketing,
And look for us.
Copywriting.
We may be tagging you with a request to be on the show. So get in that closed group and start working.
Absolutely. And the cool thing, I mean, we're up like over 11,000 members in there now. And we actually, I mean, there's stuff going on in there that I have no idea is going on, as far as people asking for help and getting feedback and other stuff. I
People are
mean,
very
it's,
helpful.
yes,
It's very nice.
extremely so. Mainly because we kick out the asshats who aren't. So we curate the group and have nice people
That's
in
what
there.
groups are for.
That's right. Cool. All right, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.